Hey guys, we have made it. Mars is stationing direct in the sky today, October 30th, 2022 to January 12th, 2023. Mars was moving backwards, pulling us back, holding us back, having us rework, redirect, make corrections, tie up loose ends, reprioritize, reevaluate, change direction, and begin to actually go through a phase of new growth in alignment with some new truths that we have discovered throughout this past period of time. Mars stationing direct today. This is putting a major emphasis on the Mars energy. Whenever a planet stations in the sky, the energy is amplified. Action, passion, willpower, motivation, courage, strength, anger, aggression, rage, this type of stuff may be more prominent in our experience today as well, but really we should just be feeling reinvigorated and re-inspired and re-motivated. If you've been sort of feeling out of it for a while and just not having the energy levels that you're accustomed to, that's about to change. This is a major vibe shift coming through, and we have gained some type of victory in one way or another, and we're going to start to reap some type of reward moving forward in some capacity in some area of our lives. So let's get into the chart for today that is going alongside of our Mars stationing direct energy, see how this is coming together for us, what we may be able to expect as we go through our experience today. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Thursday, January 12th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me until the end of this report, we are also going to be looking at a collective tarot reading that I've also done for the day because I like to tap the field for more than one modality just to get a more well-rounded overview of what is playing out for us on any given day. But we always start with the astrology, and we're starting with the astrology today, and we've got big astrology today. It's probably a pretty dynamic day, probably a pretty action-oriented day. We might feel very energized. We might feel more alive than we felt in a while. We might be like, wow, I've got a little kick in my step today. What's going on with me? I don't know why I'm feeling so energized, but that would be because we have Mars stationing to go direct in the sky today. Now, I will say, the moon is in the sign of Virgo, and the moon is making some powerful aspects in opposition to Neptune, a trine to the sun, and also a trine to Pluto later in the day. So there could be some powerful emotions or just like a more intense emotional dynamic of things that is sort of playing out alongside of this enhanced energy level that we may be finding ourselves interacting with today. But for the most part, I feel like it's just probably a pretty lively day. There's probably a lot happening, a lot going on, and we're coming to a point where it's like, okay, Mars is stationing direct in the sign of Gemini. What have we discovered? And now what are we going to do about it? This Mars retrograde period, you guys, in the sign of Gemini, with these squares to Neptune and Pisces that we've had going on as well, has been a lot about breaking us out of any personal delusion or self-limiting beliefs that we've been existing within that have been keeping us from seeing the truth of our potential. We've discovered a lot about ourselves, and it's more like we've rediscovered a lot about ourselves. And now that we have Mars stationing direct, it is like, okay, so I know this now. I'm feeling this way now. I've sort of got this redefined view of myself and my potential and my capabilities and my values and what I want to do with my energy now. So how am I going to do it? And I feel like actually over the course of this next week or so, while we are waiting for Mercury and then Uranus to go direct, that may be sort of where we are geared more mentally, sort of trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? What action am I going to take? Like maybe I have these choices, I have these decisions, I know where I'm at now, which may be very different from where I was at, this past summer, this past year before Mars went retrograde in October. But now I've discovered a lot of things. I've reevaluated a lot of things. I've reconsidered a lot of things. I've reworked a lot of things. I've redone a lot of things. And now I want to start doing something new. I want to move forward in a new direction. I want to make some changes as we're heading into Aquarius season as well. And how am I going to do it? So that's sort of the general vibe that we may be dealing with today, but people are likely to just be like wanting to do things, like just wanting to be active. It's indicating some type of victory as well. It's so interesting, you guys, how the Sabian symbols are playing out today in the context of the symbolism associated with this chart for Mars stationing direct. And the tarot message that came out for us today as well, which we'll talk about at the end, is also kind of like saying the same thing. We've come to the end of this retrograde process. We've made it through this whole period of time, which has been a challenge in the context of all this other retrograde retrograde energy, and Mars squaring Neptune. Like, that's tough. That's tough energy, especially when we have retrogrades going on. And it was teaching us a lot in the sign of Gemini, the sign of the teacher, gaining information, reevaluating. But energy is speaking quite specifically about some type of victory and being rewarded for actually our bravery or our efforts or the battles that we have fought and won internally, and however else that may have played out over this period of time. Universe is kind of coming through today in the context of this chart and giving us like a little bit of a pat on the back and saying job well done. It's so interesting because we have the sun at 23 degrees of Capricorn today for our Mars station energy. That Sabian symbol is a soldier receiving 2 awards for bravery in combat. And that is such a Mars degree anyways, like the soldier, the warrior receiving the awards, satisfying the ego for the bravery, the courage, Mars in combat, the war planet, the battle planet, very, very Martian degree, where the sun is at today at 23 degrees of Capricorn. And it's talking about 2 awards. And of course, Mars is in the sign of Gemini, which is the sign of the twins and duplicities and doubles and pairs and, choices and decisions and options and polarities. But I just feel like this is a really perfect symbol to describe Mars's journey, Mars's transit through the sign of Gemini. And it's talking about receiving these 2 awards for our bravery in combat. So we have conquered something, you guys. We have overcome something, we have conquered something, and we have learned the lessons and passed some type of test in this process of overcoming these limitations in our own mind in a lot of ways as well. Remember, with this Gemini energy that it's talking about, our way of thinking and our thought processes and our thought patterns, any type of maybe like self-sabotaging, limiting beliefs, again, that have been holding us back, which I feel like this Mars retrograde energy was helping us to conquer and overcome. So again, I feel like it's saying a job well done. And it's interesting, again, in terms of the symbolism, because we have the Earth today, the state of things on the ground, what's going on the ground, 23 degrees of Cancer, always in a polar opposition to the sun. And that Sabian symbol is the meeting of a study group or a literary society. So it's literally talking about like these lessons, and like we've studied up and we've taken the test and we've been successful. And it's like this mental energy. We've expanded our mind. We've overcome blockages to our own expansion through overcoming mental limitations through this process of learning and growth and observation and study and wisdom gained through experience. We also have Saturn at 24 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a man turning his back on his passions. It teaches deep wisdom gained through experience. So this is also talking about us having this more mature approach and having really like gained a sense of wisdom through experience that we are applying now in the context of these victories that we are having over our own lower selves, or over our own mind, or over our own subconscious patterns, or over our own like the karmic loops that we are breaking through right now and stepping out of, evolving out of. So we've made it through a serious challenge, you guys, and we have overcome, we have conquered, and we're being rewarded moving forward. More Sabian symbols. We are taking aim and we are preparing as we have gone through this process of growth, as we are about to start moving in this new direction, in this very fast-paced, action-oriented way, the degree where Mars is stationing at, actually. Mars has been here for a couple days now. We've been talking about this degree, 9 degrees of Gemini. A medieval archer stands with the ease of one wholly sure of himself, bow in hand, his quiver filled with arrows, which really is sort of the perfect analogy for this process that we've been going through, gaining this sense of confidence and faith and trust and belief and self-assuredness through this wisdom that we've gained through experience and through this process of reevaluation and reconsideration and redoing and reworking and reprioritizing and reconsidering. And now we are taking aim and we are preparing to be launched forward in this brand new direction, this next phase of growth towards manifesting our goals in this 2023 year, which is trying to bring us through, again, like a period and a process of personal growth, self-empowerment, so that we can go through a process of self-actualization and really like find our purpose and activate our destiny. That is the galactic push right now. And where we are blocking ourselves from that, or where our life circumstances are blocking us from that, and this year are really going to go through a dissolving as well. Anywhere we've been hiding from ourselves, anywhere we've been lying to ourselves, like this is the year where that doesn't persist and it doesn't withstand. And as we enter phase 3 of this Mars and Gemini energy, which is, that's what I'm considering it. It was like Mars moved into Gemini. That was like phase 1 of this process. Mars stationed retrograde and did the retrograde. That was phase 2. And now we have phase 3 where Mars is stationing direct. Mars is going to retrace his shadow. Remember, you know, we're not truly going to be actually like seeing the results and really feeling like we are traveling in this new direction probably until Mars exits his retrograde shadow, which I don't even know exactly when that is right now, but it's going to be a few weeks. So we're sort of like retracing our steps during that period of time, but we are definitely gaining confidence. We are definitely gaining momentum. The things are definitely coming together, and universe is setting us on this course to really blast off in that new direction, to launch in that new direction. We're on the launch pad and we're just waiting for things to sort of nudge their way into lighting that fuse behind us. But we're definitely going in that direction. And I feel like that symbol is really telling about this whole process. We're ready to step into and embody this new and revitalized sense of self, Mars, this Mars energy that we've discovered. I will tell you guys, with Jupiter in the sign of Aries, now that we have Mars going direct, don't be surprised if people are like really feeling themselves, like there's some more inflated sense of self going on, like inflated sense of ego sort of, and people just very much like standing by their own beliefs and like not afraid to assert themselves and stuff. Like that is definitely the vibe while we have Jupiter transiting the sign of Aries and Mars in the sign of Gemini. This is people like talking about it too. This is, there could be some pretty fierce conflicts and arguments and debates and disagreements and stuff going on, but this is also very inspiring. This is great idea energy. This is great, like working towards like conceptualizing ideas and translating them into like new projects and stuff like that. Very good energy. This is great like deal making energy, but taking risks, new endeavors, all that type of stuff is going to be quite supported now that we have Mars moving direct. Again, we probably want to wait for Mercury and Uranus to go direct because some big changes might happen around the time when Uranus stations in the sky. So, we don't necessarily want to jump off the cliff right now, but if we, just hold back a little bit more, the time is coming and things are honestly probably going to gain the momentum at the proper time and fall into place in sort of a divine alignment with the way that things are playing out for us right now as well. With all of this Mars retrograde, like I said, and the square to Neptune, teaching us to trust ourselves was a major theme of the Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini, and breaking through these fantasies or these delusions that we've been operating under in terms of our own capabilities. We're seeing ourselves, Mars, Aries, the sign of the self. We're seeing ourselves through a new and redefined lens, and this process is about to have us stepping into that and actually beginning to reshape our reality as an external reflection of this new version of ourselves that we are identifying or re-identifying with right now. It's showing us our personal truth and where we've been hiding from ourselves. Saturn is also going to be transiting through the sign of Pisces this year, you guys. This is going to be a year where we cannot hide. We cannot escape from ourselves or from reality. So we are better off grabbing it like head on, facing it head on, and deciding that this is what we're going to do, and like actively moving forward in alignment with what we feel like is waking up inside of us now, instead of trying to run from it or trying to hide from it in order to avoid any type of shakeups, because they're going to come. Karma will come, the judgment will come, okay, and it's going to be unavoidable anyways. So that's really that. We have changed our thoughts through this process. Mercury, Gemini, the sign of communication and our thought processes, what's going on inside of our mind. Mars there, how we are actively connected to that and how our energy responds to our mental thought processes. We've changed our thoughts, which has changed our identity and is about to change our reality when we let that arrow launch, when we let it go. Opportunities are also about to start coming in. Gemini, this is options, this is alternatives, this is opportunities, this is lots of stuff going on, conversations, people, places, situations, circumstances, travel, busy energy. Mars stationing direct, about to start going forward. The opportunities and the options and the choices are going to start coming in, and things are just going to start coming at us a lot faster now. Things are about to start happening. Things are about to start moving, especially as we head again towards this third week of January, the 18th Mercury direct, the 22nd Uranus direct. You might want to hold on to your hat, guys. I think it's really funny because I was wanting to say that, like, when I was reading these notes this morning, I was like, that phrase came to my mind, and then I was like, hold on. Uranus just moved to 15 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a man with a rakish silk hat, muffled against the cold, braves a storm. Uranus at that degree. Uranus is going to station at that degree. We want to keep our wits about us, okay? Like, as a metaphor, hold on to your hat. It means sort of like brace yourself for maybe some unexpected or some exciting stuff that could just throw you through a bit of a loop. But I also want to, hold on to your hat. We're talking about like protect your mind, right? Like keep your head covered. Make sure that your thoughts don't like get the best of you and get carried away. We sort of want to like contain our thoughts, like watch our mind, like maybe try not to get too carried away by whatever might be coming up and coming at us as we're going through this period of time. So that's basically where we're at. We have done this course correction. That's also how I'm seeing it. I feel like we have been like this past retrograde season, I feel like has been a major course correction. And we're still technically in it. We still have Mercury and Uranus about to go direct this third week of January. But for the most part, now that we have Mars stationing direct in the sign of Gemini, we have done for basically this course correction, made the necessary changes, passed this round of tests, passed this round of exams, and gained the wisdom through our experiences that is allowing us to make better, more mature choices. Think about that degree of Saturn as well, 24 degrees of Aquarius. A man turning his back on his passions teaches deep wisdom through experience. This is also reminds me of this Mars retrograde process. It's like we've gained a hold of our ego, and it's not maybe controlling us the same way that it used to because of this experience that we've gained through, or the wisdom that we've gained through this experience. So we're like self-regulating better. We've gained a sense of maturity. Maybe we are not just like following our ego and following our impulse and like going after the sense of instant gratification the same way. Maybe we have reevaluated our priorities, and maybe we just have like a redefined sense of how we want to conduct ourselves and what we are going to pursue and what we are going to go after and what we even desire at this point in time as well, which I'm thinking with Venus in the sign of Aquarius for Mars stationing direct, it's also that we're desiring something more real. We're desiring something more authentic, and maybe the things that appealed to us in the past are not appealing to us the same way anymore because we have also gone through this process of like personal evolution and maturity in terms of our ego instincts and of our ego urges, and maybe we are being more compelled and attracted to things out of an alignment with our higher selves as opposed to out of an alignment with our more instinctual impulses and urges that would be rectified through a Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini transit. So all the planets and their Sabian symbol placements today, I feel like, are being very specific about how and what and why this whole Mars retrograde process has been about, where we're at now and sort of where it's taking us. I love that we have the soldiers being given 2 awards for bravery in combat. So it's really like it's victory on 2 fronts. This Mars retrograde somehow has caused a victory on 2 different fronts in various dimensions of either like our psychological makeup, like our mind and the way that we're thinking. The way that we're thinking and the way that we're acting are both being impacted and are both being changed. The swords and the wands, the thought energy, the air and the fire. Mars in the sign of Gemini. That's what this is. It's like there's been a mental maturity that's gone on, and there's simultaneously been a refinement in the way that we're going to use our energy going forward. And we are being given rewards for a job well done in the form of momentum and forward movement and action and opportunity in alignment with these new versions of ourselves that we have discovered, rediscovered, and are becoming or re-becoming now, and the new experiences associated with this new journey. It really really reminds me a lot, like where we're at right now energetically really is like a similar vibration to me as the Fool card in the tarot. Like I feel like we are sort of at this place where the decks have sort of been cleared. We are heading in a new direction, like we are going down a new path, like it's time to sort of take a risk and have the courage to, and the faith and the trust and the belief in ourselves to set out in a new direction and not doubt our ability to get there and to make this thing happen for ourselves. Like I feel like we're sort of being reborn energetically as Mars is stationing direct. And also when I say that, remember, we have moon aspects going on today. The moon is also coming into a trine with Pluto today and a trine with the sun as well. A trine facilitating energy with the life force energy, with the light, with the grow and thrive energy, and then simultaneously with the plutonic energy, the phoenix energy, the transformation energy, the regeneration energy, the rebirth energy on the emotional level in Virgo, like the sign of the harvest, the sign of refinement and perfection and what we've grown and cultivated and developed as well. So it's like this rebirth in terms of our energy body coming from a more mature place, what we've grown into now as a result of the transformations we've gone through, and how is that empowering us now moving forward on our fool's journey going in our new direction. So probably a day of, like I said, some powerful feelings, maybe some really strong emotional urges, emotional impulses and stuff with Pluto, the moon, the sun. The moon trining the sun though, earth signs, this really should be a pretty harmonious day. Although we do also have the moon forming in opposition to Neptune, but with the trine to Pluto as well, it's like, yeah, the illusions, the misunderstandings, the lack of clarity may be coming up, but also with a facilitated ability to gain some deeper insight into it. So again, this is this cracking through our own illusions, clarity coming through in-depth insight that we gain and stuff like that, seeing behind the curtain of things, destroying the illusion energy being represented by what we have going on with the moon today as well. So, it could be bringing up these powerful feelings, but again, we are likely to be gaining clarity. This is still this revelations energy that I've been talking about for this past couple of weeks. It may be a bit hard to believe what's happening on some level today as well, you guys. We may just be like, wow, like, reality is stranger than fiction, but I can't not believe my eyes. Like that could definitely be a vibe coming through. Fast paced though, action oriented day, people feeling alive, people feeling re-inspired, people feeling passionate, people saying what's on their mind, standing their ground, willing to stand up for themselves, willing to fight for themselves, not backing down from a fight. It's a very assertive, motivated, like gusto energy. This is that divine masculine energy, feminine or masculine. Everybody is likely to be sort of just in a stronger position today and more capable, more able to make something happen. We're feeling just more confident, I feel like, all the way around. Alive, re-inspired, passionate, wanting to take a risk, wanting to try something new. Again, this fool's energy. We do have to go through the shadow. I already touched on this a little bit. We are going to come into another square with Neptune. So, we are going to be tested again before we get out of this Mars Gemini transit. But I feel like we're going to be much more prepared, and the obstacles and the issues perhaps that we face, the illusions that present themselves to us this third time around, I feel like we're going to be seeing through a lot easier. We're going to be dealing with things, maybe that we've been dealing with, but from a new perspective, and we're going to have the motivation to release ourselves from them as well. I feel like we're going to be a lot harder to fool, you guys. Speaking of this fool energy as well, it's like, yeah, like we're sort of embodying the fool archetype, but simultaneously I feel like it's going to be like a lot harder to fool us now than it has been in the past as a result of this this Mars retrograde, which, like I said, to me, I really feel like the major benefit that this transit has done for us is helped us strengthen our ability to trust ourselves through showing us where we had been doubting ourselves and why we don't need to doubt ourselves, or why we shouldn't be doubting ourselves, therefore reinstilling this confidence in ourselves, which is also being represented through Jupiter right now in the sign of Aries, which is doing the same thing. So this journey of personal self-discovery, phase 3 of Mars transiting the sign of Gemini, now that Mars is direct, I feel like, that's where we're at. We are still on it, but we have really conquered some major important energetic dynamics of this journey to self-discovery. And now we've come to the point where it's like, okay, and now I'm ready to do it. And now I'm ready to be it. And now I'm ready to act it. And with Uranus about to station direct on the 22nd, there's just likely to be some unexpected things happening that might be setting us off in that direction as well. So, not necessarily the time to take the action now. Well, we do still have Mercury and Uranus retrograde, but we are definitely gaining momentum and moving that direction. So that's what I have to say for the astrology today. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have been so disjointed in my thought processes lately because of this Mercury retrograde energy. As Mars is about to I'm recording this video before Mars stations direct, so we're like right coming to the end of it, and I feel like I have been stumbling over my words this entire report. So I hope that was like coherent and not too disjointed. Maybe it's just in my head, but it is not usually as difficult for me to put these words together in a fluid way as it has been this past couple weeks. So if you're like, what is wrong with this girl over this past couple of days, that's what it is. I'm also very much waiting on these planets to go direct. So anyways, that's what I'm saying about this astrology today. We got a whole tarot message coming out today as well. It was very, very long. I'm not going to talk about every single one of these cards because actually what the message is very short, concise, and to the point. But apparently in this retrograde energy, as we are coming to the end of it, we got a whole array of stuff that was being presented, but a very common theme. And I can essentially explain I will show you guys all the cards, but I can explain the entire reading with just the first 4 cards that came out and the cards on the back of the deck. So we're going to start there. The first card that we had coming out today is the Empress. And then we had the 6 of Wands. Now, what was the position of the sun today? 2 soldiers, or a soldier receiving 2 awards for bravery in combat. Like that could be this guy right here with his 2 rewards riding through the streets, with people like showering him with praise and admiration, stuff like that. And then we are also talking about this Empress energy. The Empress represents growth. The Empress represents creativity and abundance and like personal fulfillment and personal purpose. After that, we have the King of Wands, self-empowerment, creative self-expression. With the High Priestess in reverse. On the back of the decks, we have the 5 of Swords, which was followed by the Temperance card. So, and then we've got a bunch of other cards that all came out in reverse, which I will also talk about in a minute. But for the sake of brevity, what this reading is saying is that this retrograde process, which is going to be represented by all of these upside down cards that came out, and also the High Priestess in reverse, who was the first of the upside down cards that came out. This is saying to me that in the context also of the Sabian symbol placement, that like we have gained a victory over our sense of personal self-delusion in regards to our own personal potency, our own creative potential, our own capabilities to create, to grow, to manifest, and come into the truth of our purpose, okay? This is a rediscovery of the truth of our purpose. The High Priestess has a lot of really positive qualities, but it can also represent like confusion and mystery and fear and kind of like this Neptune Pisces energy to me of being clouded in a sense of illusion or fantasy or delusion. And in this case, with it being in reverse, with these cards upright right here, the Empress and the 6 of Wands and the King of Wands as well, I feel like this is talking about this victory over any personalized sense of self-delusion or fear of standing in our power or seeing our creativity or our potential or our internalized resources or, our unique personal creative self-expression for what it is, and coming to a point where we are ready to stand in that power, where we are ready to fully embody this and to birth this new version of ourselves. And it is this victory, and we are being, rewarded through this process. Now, on the back of the deck, with it being the 5 of Swords followed by the Temperance card, it's also as a result of us conquering this mental game. Remember what I was saying earlier about like the mental energy and the fire energy, the passionate energy, the Mars energy? the two awards, we have that here. We have these wands, and then we have the swords. It's through this process of tempering our own mind, breaking through these self-limiting beliefs or self-sabotaging subconscious thought patterns or negative self-talk and stuff like that that maybe had been keeping us in a state of personal self-delusion where we were not able to see the truth of our power and come into our true potential and be victorious over our own lower dimensions of ourselves through overcoming and rebalancing and having this sense of wisdom that we've gained through experience that is driving this process. Look at all of this. This is talking, all of these cards came out in reverse to show what we have overcome and what is going to be shifted in our experience as a result of this process of rebalancing, reframing, reperspectivizing, if that's a word, healing, essentially, a lot of the issues that have gone on in our own mind that have held us back and kept us in a state of not seeing the truth of our power clearly, and therefore operating out of a state associated more so with fear than with our own creative potential. You know, 6 of Pentacles in reverse, things that have been unfair and out of balance. 7 of Wands in reverse, where again, we've been in a state of inability to choose or to move ourselves forward or to see things clearly because of a sense of just fear or lack of understanding or personal illusion. And then we have the Strength card in reverse, you know, keeping us out of our strength, courage. We've got the 9 of Wands in reverse, this like abominable force working against us. Like, feel like we could never get ahead no matter what we did. The Queen of Wands in reverse, like neglecting to see our own creative potential and power. The 4 of Pentacles in reverse, holding ourselves back. The Moon in reverse, these subconscious fears and again, the illusions and the distortions and the lack of clarity that was created through a distorted view of ourselves and of our own power and our own potential, which is being overcome and being rectified in this corrective period that I've been talking about. So that's what I have to say in terms of the tarot cards, the tarot message coming out today. It looks like a victory over the circumstances that have held us back in the past. And that's what I'm going to say about that. Let's grab one more card now. Synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What is a piece of advice for us? What should we keep in mind as we go through this Mars direct energy and prepare to start moving forward? It says, drink of inspiration. So there's the inspiration coming through. Is cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. Proverbs 25:25. You thirst spiritually when you lack joy, peace, inspiration, and confidence. Claim the living waters of the Almighty flow through you as wisdom, truth, and beauty, and as joy, harmony, power, and love. Accept this as your own, and you will then draw from your spiritual waters all you need to give sustenance to your soul. So, you know, we're coming back online. Whenever I'm reading this card right now, and I'm just thinking about this Mars energy, which is this fire energy, and how strong the fire element and that energy is today in the vibratory field. And I'm also thinking you may want to drink some extra water today. That may be like sort of a good energetic balance to just the heat that is being expanded, Jupiter in the sign of Aries, and also just amplified by Mars's station in the sky today. So we're drinking our water today, you guys, and we are allowing ourselves to be inspired with our own potential and with our relationship with our higher selves and our higher truths and a higher power. And we are surrendering to the process and the opportunities that are coming to us now. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards, Mars stationing direct, and this next couple of weeks should be very interesting. I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys did like it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this kind of content, be interested in this type of stuff as well. Leave me comments. I love you guys so much. I appreciate your comments so much. Thank you so much for being here. I really value your feedback, what you guys have to say, and I love knowing how these aspects are affecting you alongside of the vibes that are coming through on day to day. So thank you guys so much for being here. I have a Facebook page page, a Facebook group, an Instagram, and some other social media stuff in my description box below. I post there too. I post a lot of like shorter videos and other stuff like that over there if you're interested in any of that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. Tomorrow is actually going to be my 500th video that I've done since I've started this channel, and we are just getting started. So come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We will have a weekend video, and it will also be my 500th video. So I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful Mars direct day, and until tomorrow, bye.